Okay. What's up, everybody? I'm Hoser.
I'm Tommy.
Eric.
And this is Keggercast.
Growling noises.
Let's do this.
Woo, it's like high school again.
So here we are with Spaztik. Well, two of the four members of your four-man band, right?
Yes.
we only form Spaz when we want our powers combined. So.
If you add it up by weight, it's still more. It's more than half of us.
Because originally it was a three-man band, wasn't it?
Yes, that was before Tommy. Actually, no.
Before you too, right? When it was
before Tommy came in the picture.
Sure, yeah, that's Cesar's a historian on that. But I mean, man, this band technically goes back to the '90s, right? Like
before.
Was Lusid before?
Yeah, it's kind of all related to that. There's a band genealogy, like Nirvana to Foo Fighters and such, you know. But I think it goes back to Lupe and Cesar in some form, no matter what, right?
That was Lusid.
Yeah. So Cesar, our guitar player, and his friend growing up, Lupe, they formed the band in the early mid-90s, something like that.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah, they had some semi-success in Mexicali and up in LA and stuff like that. And so a lot of those songs eventually evolved into what we formed as Spaztik.
Nice. And because I remember they had like a decent following in Mexicali, right? Yeah. They still do it when they perform as Lusid.
Yeah.
Recently, a few years ago.
Yeah.
They had a pretty decent.
They had a reunion show. I remember Cesar talking about it. Like, yeah, dude, people came out. They laughed at it. They're like, "You used to be fat. What happened?"
Yeah.
He looks like Chino now, man.
Yeah, he looks like my uncle now. But he's it's like, whenever famous people lose a bunch of weight, then they're not, nobody likes them anymore. That's why I'm not going to take this off.
He's sold out.
Yeah,
he's so out.
Spaztik, was that originally Diesel or was that something different?
So Diesel was also another form of Lusid.
Backwards form, right? Yeah.
And that was kind of more like the family band with our guitar player Cesar, his buddy Lupe, and Lupe's son. Lupe's son had to go to school, and so they still wanted to keep playing. They switched instruments, Lupe and Cesar, and then they recruited me, and I played drums. I played the drums, and then eventually we kind of realized we needed to thicken up our sound, and we weren't. Lupe was doing a good job at singing, but playing and singing, we kind of just wanted to kind of keep it more.
Singing and playing bass is. You could do it, but it's harder than singing and playing guitar.
Yeah.
Most people will say.
And this music, like bass needs to have a little more, just instead of just following along.
Yeah.
At least we wanted it to be more meaningful.
Kind of all of the Descendants, kind of lead bass kind of stuff.
So that's where we started to analyze ourselves and go well, we want the music, the chords are just 4-chord riffs, it's not nothing there. We need something behind it underneath it that carries it better. So I think Cesar contacted you. Actually,
it's like 2018, early 2018, and he contacted me about doing recordings.
Yeah. And
initially I came out to Heber where Lupe lives. They were practicing and showed him some stuff I did, and are you guys interested? And let's record. And we started to record, and then it just kind of came up in conversation because I was looking to play again, and because I was in Epic 18 until about October 2017, and then we kind of went separate ways amicably, and then I was, I wanted to play. I'd been playing. I kind of got the bug, and so there they are. They're playing. I was like, I don't know how exactly it came up, but hey, do you want to play bass? And I was like, yes. So I was playing bass with them, and Lupe was singing on guitar, and so that's when we started as four there.
Yeah, that's where the four members stuck.
And then it's a little over a year ago. Last summer, Lupe kind of suddenly had to duck out. He was trying to make it work, and it just wasn't working. And so, dude, we get it. And that was hard for him. It was hard for us. Yeah. We had booked shows and stuff, and so we played them. And so I had to learn to sing the parts and play the bass lines, and we were doing okay. And I told Cesar, dude, we gotta. I feel like we need to get a singer, or I need to switch to guitar so I could sing and play a little easier. Back to that, singing and playing bass is tough, and so we did that. And we're looking for bass players for probably a solid 2 months, just putting out feelers and asking people. It's funny, dude. It's like we couldn't find a bass player. And then I was like, you know what? We got a gig in 2 weeks. I know a guy that can come in, I'll give him. What I did is I wrote out all the music on my computer, like in sheet music, and I gave it to my friend. I was like, he'll be able to read this, and he'll learn the song in 2 weeks, and he'll play. And that's how we picked up Austin, our bass player, because he played with us for 2 weeks, getting ready for those shows. And then I was talking to Cesar and Eric. I was like, dude, this sounds really good. I think he's jamming well with us. But he's the guitarist of Epic 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
I was like,
also plays jazz.
Oh yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. I wasn't sure if he was gonna be super into it because he joined that band without previously being a ska fan, and he's fallen in love with it since. But I was like, I didn't know if he's gonna be into this because I mean we play punk, but it's not even like straight ahead punk. A lot of people think Green Day, Blink-182, sort of it might not be when we tell him we're a punk band. He might not know what he's getting into. He's doing his favorite playing, but we liked the way it sounded. He was gelling with us. He seemed to be enjoying it. We finally got the nerve. Do you want to play with us? Because like you said, he's a jazz player, and he's a busy dude, and he's like, yeah. That's just Austin, He's like, yeah. Yeah, it was like that's a hell yeah from Austin right there. that he even responded. So he's been into it. Like, he wasn't originally a bass player, so he's been just diving head first into it, and you couldn't even tell he wasn't a bass player a year ago. I think he shreds. He sounds great. So we lucked out. We found a bass player that liked to play in that same kind of style that I did, and it just worked. So.
Was it the first band you played drums in also?
No, I played drums in another local band as well. Kind of I would say alternative indie. Also, I don't say techno. No, like digital kind of like sounds incorporated with the music. It was called Dead Potions.
Okay. I've heard of them.
Yeah. We played a few local shows, and when that kind of like went away, my cousin at that point was like right when that Dead Potions ended. My cousin was like, "Hey, do you want to play drums with us?" At this point, I had already borrowed my brother's drum set, and I'm
You're talking about Cesar, your cousin?
Yeah, my cousin Cesar's like telling me like, "Hey, you want to play with us with what became Spaztik?" And I had already borrowed my brother's drum set, so I was like, "Well, sure. I mean, I'm already taking care of it. I just bought drum heads on it, so I might as well use it a few more times."
Get your money's worth.
Well, that's not because when I first saw you, you were playing guitar and singing. And you played at one of the Chuck Fests.
I played guitar and I try to sing. Yeah.
I think it was Chuck Fest in 2017, maybe 16.
Ooh, 16, 17, maybe. I know I did two. I just don't know what years they were. But yeah, they were fun. They were in Calexico and over here at Pentagonal.
Yeah, the first one at Las Olas. I remember you were playing guitar and singing with it was more of a metal band. And I think it was with Chino, wasn't it?
With Chino, my uncle Chino. Chino's name's gonna pop up here because he kind of he was the bug that put the music in. He's the guy that put the music bug in me and Cesar, as inappropriate as that sounds.
Chino, like a lot of people still, when they hear his name, they think one of the best bassists in the valley.
Well, he's my favorite bass player, so he's the one that taught me. So
is he still playing, or is he just comedy now?
He's a bass player and he attempts comedy. So
Chino, you gotta come on the show next time, huh?
I know. Well, let's hope as long as he doesn't try to tell jokes. How many Polacks is it? Whatever.
Edit. Cesar and I like to make the joke, like the two best guitar players in our band are the drummer and the bass player. It's 100% true, man. Those dudes will pick up our guitars, and we're done practically. Put our guitars down. We're just talking, hanging out. They'll pick up the guitars and they'll just randomly start playing. One of them will start playing a song, and the other one somehow always knows how to also play it. And then they're jamming out for like 20 minutes on something. And Cesar and I are like, I don't even know what song that is.
Everybody in the band is a guitar player, so I enjoy playing the drums in this band. Like, I actually probably wouldn't enjoy playing guitar as much as I play the drums.
Okay, have you guys ever are there songs where you guys might switch instruments?
We're thinking about that. That's actually a good question because Tommy has that idea.
It's in the works. I thought that'd be pretty impressive just to showcase our two great guitarists. I figured we could move.
I'm gonna interrupt you. Tommy is an actually like super classically trained like serious musician. So you hand him you could hand him a freaking a carrot.
I need an avocado and a snorkel.
Yeah,
I made instruments with less.
He'll make an instrument out of it, and he'll play it, and he'll play a song for you with virtually anything. So. as far as like us, like me and Austin, our bass player, playing guitars, he is an excellent drummer. So it's almost like we could do anything except for Cesar.
The way I figured we swap over the shredding guitar players to the guitars and let them just, shred to death. Cesar could sing and play like a punk style bass part, one that's not as intricate, because let's face it, the guitars are handling that aspect, and I could drum over it. I figured we could do something like that, and it could be we're tossing around the idea. We haven't quite found an idea that's caught fire yet, but we want to do it. We think that'd be pretty awesome, just to surprise, do a little switcheroo. People are entertained by that, you know what I mean? Like
just recently I found out that like Gambling Wallflower actually they have like 3 bands, and like where they just rotate. They play different instruments into the different bands.
That's kind of the whole story of the Valley, though. It's because I remember growing up in high school, and I'm sure everybody in the Valley has the same. Anybody playing instruments in the Valley, growing up. It's like you were playing drums in this band, you're playing guitar in that band, and then you were singing in this other band, and so then like your bass player in this band was also playing guitar in that other band, and so it was like everybody, it was like 5 bands with the same musicians just mixing around this.
Right.
But so I thought it was interesting when they told me, Gambling Wallflower is also, I forgot what the name of their band was. Except this guy's playing bass
Halfway Ghost.
Yeah.
They just played a gig with us at Ricochet, a Redline Scene event.
And it's so funny how like it's crazy cool though. Like you see both bands and they're different.
Yeah, there's a different sound.
Yeah, so different
styles or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, edit.
Do you think that's my cousin?
It absolutely is, dude.
So now we have Cesar.
What's up?
Joining us, and we were talking earlier. We were talking about the history of Spaztik and where it started. We figured, it started with Lusid, right? That's where it started, and then evolved from there.
Well, yeah, that's how me and Lupe, met each other. Of course, way before we met each other in high school. But then we started Lusid, and then he left the band, and I kept it in Mexicali for a long time. And but then when I moved over here again, we started Diesel.
Yeah.
And we started playing with Diesel, with Eddie on drums, and his son Eddie, and we did a bunch of Chuck Fest and everything like that. And
by the way, they're gonna be at Chuck Fest 2020 on March 21st at the Calexico Brewing Company. Go check it out.
for sure. And so what happened there? So Eddie left for college. Eddie goes to college.
That's his son. That's his son.
Yeah, Lupe's son. And so we're left with no drummer. And so we didn't know if we should just quit, and Eric here was playing like in an emo band.
I'll try to make it sound cool.
He described it as like an industrial rock band.
He tried so hard to make it sound cool before he got here.
There was red eyeliner involved, or whatever.
No, then and I remember, and I was like, hey, well, you want to just play drums? Because I know he's a guitarist, really, and he's probably the best guitarist in our band. And but he plays drums in our band, So yeah, he came in, and I think he came in thinking I'm just gonna do it for a while, but I think he's staying now.
I still don't even know if I'm in a band yet.
And that was it.
He still hasn't made up his mind if he wants to stay here, dude.
I know.
I still tell people that I played drums with my cousins.
He's not tenured yet.
And so he joins. Everything's cool, and then Lupe. I wanted Lupe to go back to guitar, his natural, instrument, and because he was playing bass and trying to sing at the same time, which is not that easy, and especially in ska, doing all those bass lines. And so that's when we adopted Tommy here, and that's it. And then Lupe quit later on, and we figured it'd be easier for Tommy to go to guitar, and we found Austin to play bass.
Nice.
So that's basically it, huh?
Yeah, we told a longer version.
Yeah, we told better. Ours was better.
Edit that one. To put that one.
Yeah, we had somebody die in our version. And,
you gotta put that.
Heavy.
Our keyboard player died.
But our next form is going to be Kid Zaps, where we take our current name and make it backwards, like as is tradition in this group.
Yeah, that story's
I
gonna
never
have.
thought about that, Kid Zaps.
Kid Zaps, dude.
When you do the interview for that, I'm gonna have a really wicked, dark story about when I had to open my steak sandwich addiction.
steak sandwich.
While you're in that emo band.
That's funny.
I'm gonna bring back that damn eyeliner, man.
April 17th at that Tattoo Expo, also at Ricochet.
Yeah.
That should be a pretty killer show.
Isn't the one like on early April, like super early?
Nah. There might have been, but April 17th, and I believe that the expo has groups playing on the 17th and the 18th, and so I think it's 2 bands starting at 7 on the 17th and on the 18th. So 4 bands total, and I don't know if the lineup is set yet, but they're trying to bring in some bands from out of town and stuff. Should be cool expo. Should be cool music. I think it's worth going to.
Go listen to music and get a tattoo.
And we're psyched when they asked us to play. I thought that's gonna be a good crowd. Like I'm hyped for it. So
no, we don't.
Cesar, have you ever been in a band outside of what this evolved to? You outside of Lusid evolving into Spaztik? Have you been in any other bands or?
No, I kind of suck at everything else. I can only play punk and ska.
You were in the Hispanic Bombs.
Well, but Hispanic Bombs is also like a Lusid thing.
it's part of the genealogy.
Yeah, the drummer played in it, and the bass player played in it, and then I was part of it, and so. But it was me and the drummer that started that band. So yeah, listen to Hispanic Bombs from Mexicali. And
they're still together.
Yeah, they're still together. Yeah. Well, they're happy that I'm not there anymore. But yeah, they sound better.
Is there a story behind the name Spaztik?
Is there?
Or did it just something popped in your head?
No.
Was it your back or your colon?
No, what happened was I got like a list of 10 names, and Lupe got a list like about 100 names, and he just like I was like, no, not that one on there. And then I saw Spaztik, and I was like, Spaztik, you done? And I erased it too. And he was like, no, I like Spaztik, I like it more. And so we kind of, not argued about it, but we just drank a beer over it, and we said, okay, you win. We'll call it Spaztik.
And then he left the band. You still kept the name, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, he quit. And we kept the name, and but Lupe, he's cool as hell. He's always welcome to get on stage with us and sing a song. And
we did that at a show.
Yeah, we
once,
did that at a show.
He happened to be there. We're like, get up here and sing this thing. And he still got it. He gets right into it, like nothing changed. So there's no hard feelings,
Yeah, we still feel like he's like the 5th Spaztik member still.
He's the 5th Beatle of the Spaztik.
Yeah, there you go.
Unofficial sponsor of Keggercast, Rolling Rock. We'll accept your money.
Where's
I'll show you more
Weddle?
often.
Where's Weddle?
He's in Virginia.
I know.
And speaking of sponsors, Keggercast is sponsored by TNT Anger Management out of Westlake, California. They do online anger management. Look them up if you're court ordered to. The services. And also Quality Events out of Yuma, Arizona. And American Satellites, also out of Yuma, Arizona. That's my cousin, thank you. So, and Rolling Rock, please send us money. I drink a lot of your beer and we show you on camera a lot.
Oh, wait, label out. That's how you do product placement, label out.
Let me have some more Rolling Rock.
We're gonna do some
refreshing.
If we're gonna do some shameless plugs, and I want to get it sponsored by that girl that works at the Burgers and Beer down here.
The thing about Rolling Rock for me is like it's Rolling Rock is a beer where the price and taste just meet
right there.
It's a nice Venn diagram.
It's not the best
affordable and drinkable.
It's not the best tasting beer. It's not the cheapest beer, but that's the lowest point. That's the one point where it meets. And you
I think it's
anything below that sucks. Everything above it, it's a little
I
bit
think
better.
it's Price, and then Rolling Rock, and right here it's Pabst. I love Pabst, but Rolling Rock is.
Kind of like my girlfriend. She's not the best girl, but she's not that expensive.
She's the best girl that's with me,
Cheer.
What's funny is that I went to go buy the Rolling Rock here at this gas station across the highway.
Yeah.
And they had the 12-pack like cut in half. That's the six. They were selling the 6-packs, and it said 6-pack Rolling Rock, $3.69. And then the 12-pack on the next shelf up was $13.79. Like, well, how does that make sense? I might as well take 3 6-packs. And I'm still saving money.
Well, what's the expiration date?
What do you consider Spaztik sound like? Like, what is what are the influences of the band? What's the sound that you guys go for? Like,
I think it's like a big like
smorgasbord.
like trying to get Eric to learn punk and ska when he's not a punk and ska fan. It's not hard, but you know he's got a hang of it. Like I think he's like a spastic drummer. He's not, he could do punk and he could do ska, but you know it's like
if you think about it, like as a musician, especially in my experience as a drummer, like you listen to a lot of music and then you're playing a song and just the thing to play comes into your head because it's what you've heard a bunch of times. You know, as a drummer, I find myself playing Bad Religion fills from like the 2000s when they got that just killer drummer who eventually went to be an Avenged Sevenfold super drummer, you know, and just that's like the first thing that comes to my mind. And he doesn't listen to that. That's not what he's gonna play. So listening to basically everything outside of that punk for the most part, his go-to move is not gonna be what you'd expect. But he as a guitarist and as a musician, it's not like he did some weird thing that doesn't fit. It fits just fine. It's just, I mean, does that make sense? Like it fits just fine. It's just not what you would necessarily expect. Like when you hear a certain type of punk song, you expect a certain type of lead and a certain type of beat, and all of his stuff, it works with it, but it's not necessarily in that you know school of punk rock necessarily go-to move. But it super works. And I'd say the same thing happens with Austin, where he's like, well, what are the chords? Okay, you know, as a jazzer or what, I don't know exactly his process. I'm assuming here, but you know, he's thinking about what chord it is, and he plays a line that goes through it. And it's funny as I think that way also on bass. I think about the chords and I try to play lines and scales. But his note choices are different than what I would do, and it's like that doesn't have that same punk kind of cut to it, but it works. I think along the lines of what Cesar was saying, it's rooted in punk because that's kind of what we write and that's what we bring. But then the spin that they put on it doesn't have that. It's got kind of a different sound to it. Almost like when you hear punk bands from different countries, right? Yeah, they do something. They mix a little bit of their own cultural music with it. Just you can't help it, you know.
It's or like the bands that were in Fat Records back in the day. You know, they had that metal sound. They were punk. They had that, like strung out and all those bands back then, you know,
all those bands.
All of them.
They got accused of being too metal.
Yeah. And then the rest of Spaztik, it's like, you know, like you said, you know, Tommy, he loves punk and ska, and I'm the same way. But I also listen to some metal, and I also listen to Depeche Mode. You know, it's like
and that's one thing, and I think because I've known Cesar since junior high, and
we played football together.
Back in the leather helmet days.
That 50 helmet.
Leather helmet days.
Okay, those concussions.
We didn't even have leather helmets. We were no helmets yet.
The shared helmets.
Yeah, we shared heads. Yeah, offense, okay. Defense.
Some styrofoam with some packing
Shared
tape.
helmets and shared cups.
Yeah.
No, we talked about music. We always said like, why does a band have to be stuck in a certain genre, a certain style? I mean, why can't, if you come up with a song that sounds like, if you have a punk band, but you come up with a song that sounds more, I don't know, like reggae, why not play that song too? Why do you have to keep it?
Yeah, but like
punk.
Force it. Like
I always had that like also mentality like where I don't want to be stuck pinned to a genre.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where because the core of this band, the sound is at least is punk and ska, but if a metal influence comes in, we're gonna do it. If a soft rock influence comes in, we're gonna do it. There's a new song we're working on where the first intro verse is almost. It's got a reggae feel, but it's got almost a rap lyric.
Dude, it's got the Cops theme kind of groove to it. I realize that.
It's got a, and then the song's gonna be. I hope. We don't even have a title for it. I think
there's only two bands I can think of that successfully played like different styles of music and didn't lose their fan base and still. Number one, obviously the Beatles. The Beatles changed their style multiple times throughout their career. I mean, they started off as a pop, band, and then out to this psychedelic, and eventually just a classic rock band, basically. The other one is Queen. Queen, they changed. Their songs are so different when you think of their hits, like No One Bites the Dust is like disco-ish.
Yeah.
They have opera, obviously, with the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Songs like I Want It All and Stone Cold Crazy are straight up like thrash almost songs.
Yeah, so
That's true.
it's crazy that So obviously there's a precedent for that, but not enough bands take that risk. I think.
To me, it's like I remember a lot of the Clash. The Clash for me is like they were punk, they were ska, but there's disco songs, like there's reggae songs,
there's radio,
and then when No Doubt came, they followed that direction. They went from a ska band to I don't think they were ever punk. I think they were just ska, and then from there they just opened up to.
Yeah. I think individually all of them were punk. Musicians though.
Yeah,
They had that OC kind of sound though, man. There were a lot of bands in Orange County that did that sort of thing. It sounded like that, and they just did it. They had great players, man. Yeah. The drummer, the bass player, the guitarist, they were all great. Stefani's a great singer. I mean, she went on without them. She didn't even need a damn band. So I think with changing, with having multiple styles, it's like fusion cooking.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to go to like a Mexican sushi place? Like, I mean, that could be good. People like sushi, people like Mexican. Can you combine it? And I think high level culinary will tell you that fusion is the hardest thing, because you've got two really well established things and you're trying to make them get along together, and people go there and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and they eat it and they're like, I expect a taco kind of, but it's just like it ends up being not good enough at either thing it's made out of. And the combination isn't enough, so it doesn't always work, Yeah,
but you see, like in movies, even a horror film has comedy in it. Even a comedy film has drama in it. Like they and no one like says, oh, that movie got too serious and whatever, or that movie was too funny when it was trying to be horror.
Yeah, with Spaztik, it's quite a few flavors. Quite a few, especially
because you're all musicians with that came from different backgrounds, right? The music also. Yeah. Because you saying that you're from classical background.
I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds like I played just in orchestras and shit, But I mean, I started like everybody else, in the mid '90s playing Green Day and Nirvana stuff, and when just joking. And actually, what happened is it's that typical movie trailer pitch. It's like, yeah, we were listening to alternative, and then one summer, my friend came back, listened to this, said, oh, it changed us. That's what happened, though. Yeah. He came back with a bunch of CDs. I swear he probably stole from his cousin or friend or something. And it was like the 90s punk starter kit. It had Bad Religion, it had Slapstick, and it had ska stuff and punk stuff, and just I mean, listening to the radio and stuff, I never heard anything like that.
You gotta explain what CDs are.
I never heard anything like that, and so I was like, dude, this is it. And I realized all my favorite Nirvana songs were the really fast punk ones, like Territorial Pissings or something, the ones where they're playing, it's almost punk, it's their punk influences coming through, and Dave Grohl was a big punk fan, the DC scene, and and then I realized, dude, there's a whole genre of music where that's all they do. Yes, yes, let's do that. And man, I fell down the rabbit hole, and I played in band in high school, so I played horns and stuff, and ska music. Well, it's punk with horns. Like, yes, I'm on board with this, and me and my band friends did whatever band nerds do. We made a ska band, and
I think me and Holzer, we need to thank Rick Mosh. If it wasn't for him, we probably would have never heard the Descendants. It was like,
you tell me about
Ray of Today.
Huh?
Ray of Today, Raymond.
Oh yeah.
Today.
I remember when wow, man.
Yeah, he's the one that introduced us to the Descendants.
It was just a blank tape, and we were naming the songs because we were doing
Dude, tell me that.
Hope was the cops. Yeah. That was cool. But we would cover it with me and Jose. We played in a band together too for a while. Remember me, you, Paul. Who was that drummer? Oh, we adopted a drummer. What was?
I can't remember what band he played for.
We played that one show and we really kicked ass.
We played two shows.
We
played two shows.
And
both of them were off of '98. Both of them were at the Ranchos.
Good shows.
One was at Rocky's Rancho, and the other one I can't remember whose house it was, but it was Beluche and Cardinals when they had their they used to play used to play all Pixies. That's all and we were there. We weren't expecting to play, but then someone said, "Hey, that band's here, so you have to come up." And we played.
I remember.
We played the only 4 songs that we knew.
Yeah, which was a Nirvana song, a Descendant song.
The Doors.
I don't remember.
No,
We had one original though.
We played back. Love You 2 Times also.
Remember we had that original that you called White Wall?
Oh yeah.
Let's not get into
I'm
that.
not gonna.
You guys are talking too much. You guys are talking too much about it. That you guys have to play it. If it goes on the video, then you guys have to play it.
You're talking about kind
Good
of
for me, man.
the mix of styles that we do, and kind of the creative process for us is either I have an idea, and so I kind of I demo it out on my computer where I'll just record all the stuff in the computer and record just like a sample vocal track, with some words I write real quick, and then I throw it out to them, and I try not to write too specific of a drum beat or fill, too specific of a bass line, any of that kind of stuff. So that way, when we start working on it, you know what I mean, you don't get pigeonholed into playing a specific thing necessarily. I mean, sometimes I've got an idea, can you try to do it that way? But for the most part, it's kind of blank slate. Here's the gist of the song. You got to put the details on it, Or a lot of times, Cesar will pull out something, just an idea he's been working on. Is like, here, do something with this. And so I'll listen to it and I'll go, you know what, dude? These 2 things don't go together. So this is going to be a song and this is going to be a song. And then I'll demo that out and throw it back at him, and he's got to put words to it, or sometimes I write words to it. And that's kind of been the way it goes. So I'll just make a demo so we can listen to it, because Eric, you don't have a drum set you can work on at home. So all he's got until he gets here is just listening to it, and so I think it's helpful.
Hours spent at work thinking about what I want to play.
So when you get here, is it sort of basically like improvising? When you...
It's I don't practice. I rehearse the song. I have to learn it at work while I'm supposed to work, and I'm just hearing it in my head, and then just thinking about what I'm supposed to do, and then I show up and. It's never easy. It's never good.
And they're the way you picture it in your mind, right?
No, not at all. And it goes completely not the way I want it to, and then we start.
That's what works out.
Yeah, but eventually they're patient, so they're nice to me.
We're just getting to a point where Eric comes up with an idea and I can't learn it, so we don't play it.
That song I got, you guys put a magnet on the refrigerator. You put it on the refrigerator for me. That's nice. At least I felt like.
Eric comes up with good ideas, and I'm working on them still. Right now, I feel like we've got 3 or 4 new songs. We're still kind of chiseling them down into a clear picture of kind of what they're going to be before we can practice them to get them down. We're still I call it workshopping it. We're we've got the song, and I guess like a comedy workshop. You know what I mean? Where you've got an idea and you're kind of just ad-libbing, riffing on it, and eventually you come up with what is going to be your actual joke or your routine or whatever. And then it's that way for us. We have the gist of what the conversation of the song is going to be.
Our songs are jokes.
And our songs are jokes. And we get together and play it, and just stuff develops. He'll play something that'll change the way I do it, or Austin will have some kind of bass part he's going to write, so we get kind of out of the way of it a little bit. But Eric's written a couple guitar parts that I think are great, and so I'm working on playing them and kind of what's the second guitar going to be, and throw them back to the guys. Say, what do we think of this? And sometimes we go, it's working, it doesn't work, and but the thing I really like, man, and I played in a lot of bands where this is not the case, and I've probably been guilty of this also, but no one ever says, no, that idea sucks, vetoed, We try to make it work. We give it a fair shot, and then sometimes it just doesn't work out. I wrote when Luby first left, I was like, dude, we need more songs. So I'm trying real fast over the summer. I tried to just shotgun 5 songs as fast as I could, just real rough ideas. And one of them was a straight ahead kind of ska song. There was punk in it, but it was at the end. It was the ska part ended, and then fast drums, and then it's the same chords, but now it's a punk song. And we tried it, and it's like we like the punk part. The ska part's kind of too generic, and so sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the idea doesn't stick. So, but no one ever says
that idea will probably come up later on.
Do you guys have like a song in your repertoire that you consider like a throwaway song that you only put it in there as a filler, or
depends on who you ask.
The band?
Yeah, I think everybody's got a song. I think, and that's the thing too, because like I said, nobody hard vetoes anything. So there's a couple songs that I'm like, I'll play them because I know Eric really likes it. And I'm sure there's a couple songs that they play because Tommy likes this song for some reason. We can make it work, and that's great, man. Because I've played in other bands where that's not the case, or I've been in other bands where someone writes something, I'm just like, dude, I can't with this song. Like, please don't make me play this, and that causes problems. Like,
it's great. Like Tommy said, we're in this band we're free to actually say input, and as far as like an idea, as far as hey, can we extend that? Like the songs I love listening to, they're always like 8-minute songs and 9-minute songs. So when we're playing a 2.5, 3-minute song, I'm like, hey, can we make that part longer? Like,
this isn't a rock opera, dude.
And they're like, sure, let's try it. And then when we realize that, you're gonna fall apart on the drums halfway through.
We can't play a 4-minute song. It's unheard of.
Get tired
but we try it though, and then the right arm doesn't work anymore. But
the longer the song is, the more chances you have to mess it up.
Yeah.
So let's just put everything on one number and roll the roulette.
Anything that can go wrong.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong, Eric's gonna fuck it up on the drum.
That's Eric's Law.
Yeah, dude.
Guys, thanks you.
Thanks for coming out, man.
You got enough stuff?
Thank you.
You got enough stuff? You got enough stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We don't want ours to be 15 minutes long, dude.
I don't even know how long we've been here actually, but
Poor dude is gonna have to figure out how to edit the backstory. Like, which one is he gonna put?
both of them.
Just mix it up, and all of a sudden Cesar shows up and he says this.
The red light turned off like 30 minutes ago.
I hope that.
No, it's funny. We'll be talking about it, and then it'll be just like a zoom in of Caesar's face, so it's like he was there. Camera 2.
Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Till next time, Venus Norris. You remember Venus Norris? I told them.
We learned what Venus Norris
He's on the story.
Why are you calling me, bro?
Let me tell you I was here. Oh, maybe my phone.
You're calling me right now, sir.
My phone is butt dialing.
That's on the front part. That's a dick dial.
Dick dial.